Hello, I am Anna. Welcome to my channel. This is my first update to my Back to Broadway rolling project pan for the year 2020. If you didn't know, I made this project pan by myself. If you want to join, go ahead. It doesn't matter how many products you do, but basically I just have 10 products and I attach each to a musical by some connection, and then once I'm done with that I roll in a new one and I connect it to a different musical. I will not be explaining the connections today because I did that in the intro. Anyways, let's get started. So, for the musical Phantom of the Opera, I chose the Wet n Wild Dewy Primer. My progress is visually very minimal, however, I did use this 13 times this past month. Now, the reason my numbers are kind of low for this update is because for the first 2 weeks of my progress, I was on Christmas break, so I wasn't really leaving the house that much, therefore I wasn't really wearing makeup that much. Also just, I was tired after finals, so I kind of stopped caring a bit. But now that school has started again, I have been wearing makeup 5 to 6 times a week, if not more. So hopefully my numbers will be higher for the next month, but anyways, this is the highest number out of all of them, which means I used it like every time I wore makeup, 13 times I guess. But yeah, happy that I'm making progress, but I'm like, that's doesn't look like that much. I can't bend it much more than I did last time. Oh well, for the musical Bonnie and Clyde, I chose the Wet n Wild Matte Primer, which I'm a little farther along in. I used this 12 times. And I don't know if you can see, the line has moved kind of in a similar way. Okay, for the musical Dear Evan Hansen, kind of a funny story. So I did the Wet n Wild bronzer in the shade Reserve Your Cabana, I believe. And I shouldn't really have put it in this project. I didn't realize how quickly I would finish it, but I finished it on New Year's Eve. When I was putting on makeup for New Year's Eve, I was like, oh, I just used that up. Okay, well, yeah, I took like 3 more uses, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 3 uses. So that went a lot quicker than I thought. I guess it was powdery because I repressed it, and I don't know. But, you know, I have it empty, so I'll take it. For the musical Beetlejuice, I have the Milani lipstick in the shade Teddy Bear. And I don't know how much visually you can tell here, but I do have lines on a paper. I used this product 6 times, and as you can see, this is my new line. Sorry, I'm doing this in front of a window because it has good lighting, but my line is, I kind of just changed the slant. I'm trying to round it out to flatten it because I'm not using it as a lipstick, so I don't need it as like that lipstick shape. So progress, minimal progress. But I can't use that much or else it'll look kind of crazy. I think my goal for this next month is to use it 10 times. Now for the musical Legally Blonde, I have the product, this Wet n Wild Mega Glow Makeup Stick Blush in the shade Peach Bum, and I have lines for this as well, but I thought I'd just visually show you. That is how much I have left. Yeah, I used this also 6 times. But the progress is actually more than I thought. I thought the lines were going to be like no movement because I really couldn't tell how far I was going when I wasn't tracking things, but I'm pretty proud of that. 6 times and I made that much movement. My goal is also to use this 10 times in the next month. Now the next musical is Natasha and the Great Comet of 1812. And the product for it is kind of a fail. This is the Milani Strobe Light Highlighter. Now, when I say fail, I mean, first off, I only used it 2 times on my face, and then I decided I didn't want it in the project anymore. To be honest, I didn't really know how I felt about this product. I thought I liked it, but I couldn't really tell. I hadn't used it in a long time. So I forced myself to use it at least 2 times, and I realized it's difficult to blend. It blends out better with like a denser brush, but when I use that brush, it rubbed off my Wet n Wild blush, and if I can't use it with the cream blush I'm panning, I don't want to pan it at the same time, if you get me. Also, I realized even if I wear it alone without blush, it fades off faster, and then you're just left with like pink sparkles on your cheeks, which I don't really want that look. So, and I wouldn't want to mix this with like moisturizer for a glowy primer because it's too sparkly for me. So I feel like the only way to use this up would be using it as some kind of body shimmer. Yeah, but at least I was successful in one way, which made me realize what I think of this product. For the longest time, I just didn't know because I didn't use it consistently. And I know I only used it 2 times. For some reason, those 2 times made me realize, oh, I don't like this product. I finally figured it out. So kind of a success, kind of an absolute fail. But I used it twice, which is better than no times. For the musical Chicago, I have the product Essence Metal Shock Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Second to Mars. Now, you can't really see much progress. I'm going to put pictures up to show the difference, but you probably can't see any difference. I used this 3 times. One of those times is on my eyes today. I discovered that I do really like this product, which for a while I wasn't sure if I did or not. I was like, I only used it 3 times, and I want to use it at least 5 times this next month, because I'm trying to challenge myself a bit more. Now for the musical The Drowsy Chaperone, I have the Wet n Wild lip liner in the shade Plum Together. And I used this twice, which doesn't seem like much, but considering it's such a dark shade on my complexion, I'm pretty proud of that because I think I wore it in public once, maybe twice max in like the year I had it, so 2 times in 1 month is a big step. Now, as I said, I used it 2 times, and right here is the lines, but it shrunk considerably well. Despite only being 2 times, because I use it as a lipstick. I put it all over my lips, and because it's such a dark shade and it's not the best formula, I have to reapply it several times during the day so I don't look crazy. I have to really keep on touching it up every hour or 2 to make sure I don't look insane. So that makes me use it a lot more. So for those lines, it makes it seem like I have like 4 more uses left, which is not that much if you think about it. My goal for this next month is to use it 2 more times at least. Maybe more, but we'll see, because it's a really deep purple. I love the color, just not the formula that much. So who knows what I'll buy in its place once I finish that. For the musical Les Mis, I have the hodgepodge of lip products that are in this Franken tinted lip balm. I used this 6 times. Now keep in mind, my usage numbers do not count my reapplications. 6 times means I wore it for 6 days. My goal is to use it 10 times as well. This is the progress I made, which isn't that much. I kind of want to make more next time. So yeah, hopefully 10 times will make a little bit more of a dent. Now for my last product from last time was for the musical Hadestown, in which I chose this LA Colors Pout Lip Gloss in the shade Pucker Up. I used this 5 times, and I realized that I can't count because I used that tinted lip balm 7 times. I forgot how tallies worked. I wore it on top of the tinted lip balm, but it's probably a bit faded by now, but I do like it on top of that tinted lip balm because tinted lip balm is really hard to say really fast. Just gotta mention that. I'm really struggling over here. But I do like wearing it on top of that because it adds a bit more warmth to the really cool tone color, so it kind of neutralizes it. I tried to like swirl around the doe foot so that I could kind of push it to see the line on the bottom, but it's hard to tell because there's a lot of things stuck on the side because it doesn't really settle. So until I can take the stopper out and then like push everything to the bottom, I don't think I'll be able to make lines on this. I'll just have to be taking pictures showing how many times I use it a month. My goal for this is to use it 10 times as well. Maybe I'm challenging myself too much, but we'll see. If I fail, then I'll be able to readjust, right? Okay, now for my rolling in items for the items that I finished or took out of the project. Now, because I finished that bronzer, I wanted to roll in another bronzer. Now, this next one I paired with the musical Heathers, which is a bop. It's one of the most angsty musicals I have ever listened to. I do really like the musical and the music, although the story is a little bizarre. Not quite as bizarre as the movie, so yeah, it's just a ride, but the music's bopping, and I do like the West End recording for like You're Welcome and some of the newer songs. They don't seem like they fit in with the style of the music, however. They're good songs, I just feel like they kind of seem out of place in the musical. Anyways, I chose the product. This is a Franken of 2 e.l.f. eyeshadows from their Mad to Matte palette. Mad for Matte palette. And I love this as a bronzer because it's not super orange, but it does provide some warmth and depth. It's kind of like a maybe bronzer. But my goal is to hit pan on this, and I chose this because of the song I Am Damaged. And this is damaged old packaging that I pressed it into, so thought it was fitting. It's hard to fit something that's like not an actual product. Like this is from an e.l.f. palette, but they didn't have names for shades, and it was in its original packaging. It was kind of weird, so I figured it has damaged packaging. I can pair that with something. So yeah, my goal is to hit pan on this. I do not know how long that's going to take because I don't need that much because I'm so pale. Now the next product I'm rolling in is for the musical Moulin Rouge, which recently came on Broadway, which my friend saw on Broadway. Sounds amazing. Anyways, I watched the movie recently for the first time, and boy was it like a fever dream. It was fun, but it was a fever dream. I was laughing way too hard when Satine was like, "I'm dying." Girl, you've been coughing up blood for like 2 months. Why are you sounding surprised? You're dying, yes. Do you think everyone just faints out of nowhere and coughs up blood on a regular basis? No. Anyways, I just thought that was way too funny. Kind of morbid. What can I say? I chose this shade in the Wet n Wild Petalette palette. You can't even see it because it's so bright and white. But it's this duochrome white shade. And I chose it because of the song Sparkling Diamond, because it's like a sparkly white duochrome shade. I use this as a face highlight because I moved that other highlight out of my project pan. I thought it was fitting. But I use it as a face highlight because it's not like pigmented or metallic enough to put on my eyes, but on my cheeks it's kind of like a natural glow, even though it is kind of like a duochrome. I quite like it, and I want to finish it up because I recently repressed it. It was like a significant pan around the center, so I repressed it so that I could just use it. Yeah, as you can see, I have quite a bit of progress on this because I use these to Franken some of my eyeshadows, but I want to finish this palette in the next year or two, so thought I might as well get a head start on that. Anyways, that is my Back to Broadway Project Pan update for the first month of the year 2020. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye!